Welcome to my channel, where we explore the fascinating world of rare and historical U.S. coins. Today, we're diving into 5 classic Lincoln Wheat Pennies that continue to attract collectors from around the world. The 1946 1-cent coin, the 1950 D1-cent coin, the 1952 1-cent coin, the 1953 D1-cent coin, and the famous 1955 D1-cent coin. These coins may look simple at first glance, but each one carries history, value potential, and unique collecting interest. Let's begin with the 1946 1-cent coin. The 1946 1-cent coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series of the United States, a coin that carries both historical meaning and strong collector interest. This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat cent design, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. By 1946, the United States had just emerged from the difficult years of World War II, and the country was transitioning from wartime production back to peacetime normalcy. The 1946 cent represents one of the first full years of regular coinage production after the war, making it historically significant as a symbol of recovery and rebuilding. The obverse of the 1946 1-cent coin features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can be found on the reverse of the bottom rim of earlier issues and on the obverse in later modifications. Lincoln's image on the coin was groundbreaking at the time of its introduction in 1909 because it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular circulating United States coin. Before Lincoln, U.S. coins typically featured symbolic figures, such as Lady Liberty. The portrait on the 1946 cent shows Lincoln in a calm and dignified pose, symbolizing unity and leadership during challenging times in American history. Above Lincoln's head appears the word, "In God We Trust," which became a regular motto on U.S. coins during the 19th century. To the left of Lincoln is the word Liberty, and to the right appears the date 1946. If the coin was struck at a branch mint, a mint mark can be found just below the date. In 1946, 3 mints produced a 1-cent coin: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark. Coins struck at the United States Mint Facility in Denver carry a small d, and those struck in San Francisco carry an S. Therefore, collectors recognize 3 main varieties: 1946 no mint mark, 1946 D, and 1946 S. The reverse design of the 1946 cent features 2 wheat ears, one on each side, curving inward toward the center. This design gave the series its popular name, Wheat Cent. Between the wheat stalks are the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, and above them the Latin motto, E Pluribus Unum. The wheat design symbolizes agricultural prosperity and the strength of the nation's farming tradition. The simple yet elegant design remained in use until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse beginning in 1959. In terms of composition, the 1946 1-cent coin is made primarily of copper. Specifically, it consists of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition was restored after the wartime steel cents of 1943 and the modified alloy cents of 1944 and 1945, which were made from recycled shell casings due to wartime copper shortages. By 1946, copper supplies had stabilized, and the mint returned to the traditional bronze composition. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and a weight of approximately 3.11 grams. Its edge is plain, meaning it has no reading or lettering. Mintage numbers for the 1946 cent were quite high, reflecting the economic expansion and increased demand for coinage in the post-war period. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 991 million pieces, making it one of the highest mintage wheat cents of the 1940s. The Denver Mint struck more than 315 million 1946 D cents, while the San Francisco Mint produced over 198 million 1946 S cents. These large mintages mean that the 1946 cent is generally considered a common coin, especially in circulated grades. However, high-quality uncirculated examples, especially those with strong red luster, are more desirable among collectors. Condition plays a major role in determining the value of a 1946 1-cent coin. Circulated coins, which show wear from everyday use, typically have lower value and are often worth only a small premium over face value, unless they are in exceptionally good condition. Uncirculated coins, particularly those graded mint state by professional grading services, can command higher prices. Coins with full original red color, known as red or RD by grading companies, are generally more valuable than those that have toned to brown, known as brown or bien. There's also a middle classification called red-brown or RB, indicating partial original red color. Collectors often look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair and coat on the obverse and clear separation lines in the wheat ears on the reverse. Strike quality can vary slightly depending on the mint. Some 1946 S-cents are known for slightly weaker strikes compared to Philadelphia issues, though many well-struck examples exist. Luster, which refers to the way light reflects off the coin surface, is an important factor in uncirculated grades. Original mint luster is created by microscopic flow lines during the striking process and can greatly enhance a coin's appeal. Although the 1946 cent is generally common, certain error coins and varieties can be more valuable. Collectors search for double-die varieties, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and other mint errors. While no extremely famous double-die variety exists for 1946, like the well-known 1955 double-die cent, minor varieties and errors can still attract interest and premium prices depending on their visibility and condition. Historically, the year 1946 was significant for the United States. It marked the first full year after World War II, a time when soldiers were returning home and industries were converting from military to civilian production. The economy was expanding, and the demand for small denomination coins increased as consumer goods became widely available again. The 1946 Lincoln cent circulated widely in everyday commerce, from grocery stores to bus fares, making a silent witness to the beginning of the post-war American boom. Over the decades, millions of 1946 cents have been saved by collectors, both casually and seriously. Many people began collecting Lincoln cents as an affordable hobby, often starting by searching through pocket change. The Wheat Cent series, including the 1946 issue, became one of the most collected coin series in American history due to its long-run, historical importance, and accessible price range. Even today, it is common to find 1946 cents in old coin jars, rolls, and inherited collections. In higher mint state grades, especially MS 66 red or above, the 1946 cent can become significantly more valuable because of the difficulty in finding perfectly preserved examples. Coins that have been stored carefully since the time of minting and protected from environmental damage are the most desirable. Factors such as spots, carbon marks, and discoloration can reduce value. Next, we move to the 1950 D1 cent coin. The 1950 D1 cent coin is part of the classic wheat cent series of the United States and remains a popular issue among collectors because of its relatively low mintage compared to many other post-war Lincoln cents. This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. The Wheat Cent series continued until 1958, and during that long period it became one of the most collected coin series in American history. The 1950 D issue stands out as one of the better dates of the late Wheat Cent era, especially in high grades. The obverse of the 1950 D cent features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear on the obverse near Lincoln's shoulder on later issues. The design was groundbreaking when first introduced because it marked the first time a real historical person appeared on a regularly circulating United States coin. Before this, American coins usually displayed symbolic figures such as liberty. Lincoln's calm and dignified image on the cent reflects respect for his leadership during the Civil War and his role in preserving the Union. On the obverse, the inscription "In God We Trust" appears above Lincoln's head. The word liberty is positioned to the left of the portrait, and the date 1950 is located to the right. Just below the date is a small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The United States Mint facility in Denver, was one of the three main mints producing cents during this era, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. The 1950 D coin was exclusively struck in Denver, and its mint mark is an important identifying feature for collectors. The reverse of the 1950 D cent shows the classic wheat ears design. Two stylized wheat stalks curve along the left and right edges of the coin, framing the central inscriptions. At the top is the motto, E pluribus unum. In the center appears the denomination 1 cent, and below that is United States of America. The wheat ears symbolize agricultural strength and national prosperity. This reverse design remained in use from 1909 until it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1950 D1 cent coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used for most wheat cents. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, and a plain edge. The bronze composition gives the coin its distinctive reddish color when freshly struck. Over time, depending on storage conditions, the coin's surface can tone from bright red to red-brown and eventually to brown. One of the most important aspects of the 1950 D cent is its mintage. The Denver Mint produced approximately 334,950,000 pieces. While this number may seem high, it is relatively low compared to some other wheat cents of the late 1940s and early 1950s, many of which had mintages exceeding 500 million or even over 1 billion. Because of this comparatively lower production, the 1950 D is often considered a semi-key date among late wheat cents, especially in higher uncirculated grades. In circulated condition, the 1950 D cent is generally affordable and widely available. Coins that show moderate wear, such as smooth areas on Lincoln's hair and coat, are common and usually carry only a modest premium over face value. However, in uncirculated condition, especially with strong original red color, the coin becomes much more desirable. Collectors and grading services typically classify copper coins into 3 color categories: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Red examples retain most of their original mint luster and color, making them the most valuable. High-grade examples of the 1950 D cent, particularly those graded MS 65 red or higher, can command strong premiums in the collector market. Coins graded MS 66 or MS 67 red are significantly scarcer and much more valuable because fewer examples have survived in such pristine condition. Factors that affect grade include strike quality, luster, surface marks, and overall eye appeal. The Denver Mint in 1950 generally produced well-struck coins, but some examples may show minor weakness in details, such as the wheat lines on the reverse. The 1950 D cent is also collected as part of complete Lincoln Wheat cent albums. Many collectors enjoy building date and mint sets from 1909 through 1958 and the 1950. D fills an important slot in that series. While it is not as rare as famous key dates like 1909, SVB, or 1914 D, it is more challenging to find in top condition than many common dates from the 1940s. This balance of availability and scarcity adds to its appeal. Error coins and variety for the 1950 D issue also exists, though they are not extremely famous. Collectors may look for repunched mint marks, minor double dies, off-center strikes, or other mint errors. Such errors can increase the value significantly depending on their visibility and condition. As with all valuable coins, authentication by professional grading services can help confirm originality and prevent counterfeiting. The year 1950 itself was an important time in American history. The country was experiencing economic growth after World War II, and the Korean War began in June 1950. During this period, demand for coinage remained strong due to expanding commerce and population growth. The 1950 D cent circulated widely in everyday transactions, from grocery stores to public transportation, becoming part of daily American life. Over the decades, millions of 1950 D cents have been saved by collectors and the general public. Many were pulled from circulation soon after minting because collectors recognized their relatively low mintage compared to other contemporary issues. As a result, uncirculated rolls were stored away, which explains why mint state examples are still obtainable today, although top-grade red coins remain scarce. From an investment perspective, the 1950 D1 cent coin is considered a solid semi-key date within the later wheat cent series. While circulated pieces are inexpensive, high-grade red examples can represent a meaningful addition to a serious collection. The coin's value depends heavily on condition and color preservation rather than just its date and mint mark. Now, let's talk about the 1952 1-cent coin. The 1952 1-cent coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series of the United States and belongs to the well-known Lincoln Wheat cent design that was produced from 1909 through 1958. This series is one of the most collected and historically meaningful coin series in American numismatics. The 1952 cent represents the early 1950s period of American history, a time marked by post-World War II economic expansion, the growth of suburban communities, and the continued strengthening of the United States as a global power. Though it is considered a common date in circulated condition, the 1952 cent still holds strong interest for collectors, especially in higher mint state grades with full original color. The obverse of the 1952 1-cent coin features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The appearance of a real historical figure on a circulating U.S. coin was a significant change in American coinage tradition, as earlier designs typically showed symbolic representations of liberty rather than actual individuals. Lincoln's calm and dignified portrait on the coin symbolizes leadership, unity, and national strength. Above Lincoln's head appears the inscription, "In God We Trust," a motto that had become standard on United States coins by the early 20th century. To the left of Lincoln is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1952. If the coin was struck at a branch mint, a mint mark appears just below the date. In 1952, cents were produced at 3 different facilities of the United States Mint: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while those produced in Denver have a small d, and those from San Francisco display a small s. As a result, collectors recognize 3 main varieties for this year: 1952 with no mint mark, 1952 D, and 1952 S. The reverse of the 1952 cent displays the classic wheat ears design that defines the wheat cent series. 2 wheat stalks curve along the left and right edges of the coin, framing the central inscriptions. At the top is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum. In the center appears 1 cent, and below that is United States of America. The wheat ears symbolize America's agricultural heritage and prosperity. This reverse design remained in use until the end of 1958, after which it was replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial design. In terms of composition, the 1952 1-cent coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used for most Lincoln cents except during wartime adjustments. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters, weighs approximately 3.11 grams, and features a plain edge. When newly struck, the coin has a bright reddish appearance due to its high copper content. Over time, exposure to air and environmental conditions causes the surface to tone from red to red-brown and eventually to brown. The mintage figures for 1952 cents were substantial. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 186,775,000 coins. The Denver Mint produced about 746,130,000 pieces, making the 1952 D one of the highest mintage wheat cents of the early 1950s. The San Francisco Mint struck around 137,800,000 coins. These large production numbers mean that the 1952 cent is generally considered a common date, particularly in circulated condition. However, high-grade uncirculated examples, especially those with full red color, are more difficult to find and can carry higher premiums. Condition plays a major role in determining the value and desirability of a 1952 1-cent coin. Circulated examples show wear on Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat, as well as flattening of the wheat lines on the reverse. These coins are typically affordable and widely available. Uncirculated coins, known as mint state examples, retain their original luster and show no signs of wear from circulation. Copper coins are usually categorized by color into three groups: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Fully red coins are the most desirable because they preserve the original mint color and luster. In higher grades such as MS 65 red or above, the 1952 cent can become significantly more valuable than circulated pieces. Coins graded MS 66 or MS 67 red are scarcer because fewer examples have survived in such exceptional condition without spotting, carbon marks, or discoloration. Surface quality, strike sharpness, and eye appeal are important factors for collectors. The Denver Mint often produced strong strikes in 1952, though minor variations in detail may be observed among individual coins. Collectors often search for error coins and varieties within the 1952 issue. While no extremely famous major double die exists for this date, minor double dies, repunch mint marks, off-center strikes, and other mint errors can be found. These error coins can carry premiums depending on their rarity and condition. Professional authentication and grading help ensure that such varieties are genuine. The year 1952 was historically significant in the United States. It was an election year in which Dwight D. Eisenhower was elected president. The country was experiencing continued economic growth and industrial expansion during the early Cold War period. The 1952 cent circulated widely in everyday commerce during this time, becoming part of daily life in grocery stores, gas stations, and small businesses across the nation. Though small in size and denomination, the coin represented a period of optimism and steady development in American society. Over time, many 1952 cents were saved in coin jars, albums, and rolls by collectors who enjoyed building complete sets of Lincoln Wheat cents. The affordability of most wheat cents made them accessible to young collectors, contributing to the popularity of the series. Today, the 1952 cent remains an essential part of any complete wheat cent collection, covering the years 1909 to 1958. From an investment perspective, the 1952 1-cent coin is not considered rare in circulated condition due to its high mintage. However, high-grade red examples can be more desirable and may appreciate over time as premium quality coins become harder to find. The coin's historical significance, attractive classic design, and role within one of America's longest-running coin series ensures continued interest among numismatists. Moving on to the 1953 D1 cent coin. The 1953 D1 cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Wheat cent series, one of the longest-running and most widely collected coin series in United States history. This coin was struck during the early 1950s, a time when America was experiencing economic growth, industrial expansion, and rising consumer confidence following World War II. Although the 1953 D-cent is generally considered a common date in circulated condition, it holds strong importance within the wheat cent series and remains popular among collectors, especially in high-grade, uncirculated condition. The obverse of the 1953 D-cent features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This marked a historic change in American coinage because it was the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular circulating United States coin. Lincoln's image symbolizes unity, leadership, and the preservation of the Union during the Civil War. Above Lincoln's head appears the inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left of the portrait is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1953. Just below the date is a small D mint mark, which identifies the coin as having been struck at the Denver facility of the United States Mint. The Denver Mint was one of the primary production centers for circulating coinage during this period, and the D mint mark is a key detail that distinguishes this coin from the Philadelphia and San Francisco issues of the same year. The reverse design of the 1953 D-cent shows a classic wheat ears motif. Two wheat stalks curve inward along the left and right edges of the coin, framing the central inscriptions. At the top appears the Latin motto, e pluribus unum. In the center is a denomination 1 cent, and below that is United States of America. The wheat ears symbolize agricultural prosperity and national strength. This design had been in use since 1909 and would continue until it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The 1953 D1 cent coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used for most Lincoln wheat cents. It has a diameter of 19 millimeters, weighs approximately 3.11 grams, and has a plain edge. When newly struck, the coin displayed a bright reddish-orange color due to its copper content. Over time, exposure to air and environmental factors causes copper coins to tone, often turning red-brown or brown. The mintage of the 1953 D-cent was very high. The Denver Mint produced approximately 700,515,000 pieces. This large production number makes the 1953 D a common date in circulated grades. It was heavily used in daily commerce across the United States, passing through countless hands in grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and banks during the 1950s and beyond. In circulated condition, the 1953 D-cent is generally affordable and easy to find. Coins that have been used in everyday transactions typically show wear on Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat, as well as flattening of the wheat lines on the reverse. These worn examples usually carry only a small premium over face value. However, condition becomes much more important when evaluating uncirculated pieces. Uncirculated 1953 D-cents, known as mint state coins, retain their original mint luster and show no signs of wear. Copper coins are commonly classified by color into 3 categories: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Fully red examples, which reserve most or all of their original copper color, are the most desirable and command the highest prices. Red-brown coins show partial original color, while brown coins have toned completely. Although the 1953 D-cent is common in lower mint state grades, high-grade examples such as MS 66 red or MS 67 red are more difficult to find. Many coins from this era were stored in rolls, but even so, only a smaller percentage survived without spotting, carbon marks, or surface abrasions. Collectors value coins with strong luster, sharp strike details, and clean surfaces. The Denver Mint generally produced well-struck cents in 1953, though minor variations in strike strength can be observed. Error coins and minor varieties also exist for the 1953 D issue. Collectors sometimes search for repunched mint marks, minor double dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and other minting errors. While there is no extremely famous major double die variety for 1953, D like the well-known 1955 double die cent, certain errors can still bring premiums depending on their clarity and condition. The historical context of 1953 adds additional interest to the coin. In January 1953, Dwight D. Eisenhower was inaugurated as President of the United States. The country was experiencing growth in manufacturing, suburban development, and consumer goods production. The Korean War had recently ended in July 1953, and America was adjusting to the realities of the Cold War. The 1953 D-cent circulated widely during this transformative time, serving as a small but constant presence in everyday economic activity. Many collectors who build complete Lincoln Wheat cent albums include the 1953 D as part of their date and mint set from 1909 to 1958. Because of its high mintage, it is usually easy to obtain in circulated condition, making it accessible to beginners. However, advanced collectors may seek out top-grade red examples for registry sets or investment purposes. From an investment standpoint, the 1953 D-cent is not rare in circulated grades due to its large mintage. However, pristine mint state red coins can hold solid value, especially as the supply of high-quality examples gradually decreases over time. The key factors influencing value are color preservation, surface quality, strike sharpness, and professional grading. If you are collecting for investment purposes, high-grade certified coins from recognized grading services are usually safer choices. If you are collecting for hobby enjoyment, Even circulated examples hold historical charm and represent a tangible piece of the mid-20th century American history. Because this coin is made of mostly copper, some people also save pre-1982 pennies for their metal content. However, it is important to note that melting U.S. cents of metal value is illegal under current U.S. regulations. Finally, we come to the 1955 D1 cent coin. The 1955 D1 cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Wheat cent series, one of the most popular and widely collected coin series in United States history. This coin was struck during the mid-1950s, a time when America was experiencing rapid economic growth, expansion of suburbs, and increasing consumer activity. Although the 1955 D cent is often overshadowed by the famous 1955 double die cent from Philadelphia, it remains an important and collectible issue within the Wheat cent series. The obverse of the 1955 D1 cent coin features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The introduction of Lincoln's image was historic because it marked the first time a real person appeared on a regularly circulating United States coin. Before this, American coins typically featured symbolic figures, such as liberty. Lincoln's calm and dignified appearance on the coin represents unity, leadership, and national integrity. Above Lincoln's head appears the inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1955. Just below the date is a small D mint mark, identifying the coin as having been struck at the Denver facility of the United States Mint. The mint mark is a key feature because it distinguishes this coin from the Philadelphia issue of the same year, including the famous double die variety that does not have a mint mark. The reverse of the 1955 D cent displays a traditional wheat ears design that defines the Wheat cent series. Two wheat stalks curve along the left and right sides of the coin, framing the central inscriptions. At the top appears the Latin motto, E pluribus unum. In the center is the denomination 1 cent, and below that is United States of America. The wheat ears symbolize agricultural prosperity and national strength. This reverse design had been in use since 1909 and would continue until it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design. The 1955 D1 cent coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the standard bronze alloy used for Lincoln cents during this era. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters, weighs approximately 3.11 grams, and has a plain edge. When freshly struck, it has a bright reddish appearance due to its high copper content. Over time, exposure to air and handling causes the copper surface to tone, often changing from red to red-brown and eventually to brown. One of the most important aspects of the 1955 D cent is its mintage. The Denver Mint produced approximately 563,257,500 pieces. This high mintage makes the coin common in circulated grades. It was widely distributed and heavily used in everyday transactions throughout the United States during the mid-1950s. As a result, worn examples are easy to find and typically carry only a small premium over face value. However, condition plays a major role in determining the value and desirability of the 1955 D cent circulated coins show wear on Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat, as well as flattening of the wheat lines on the reverse. These coins are usually affordable. Uncirculated coins, known as mint state examples, retain their original luster and show no signs of wear from circulation. Copper coins are classified by color into three main categories: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Fully red coins, which preserve their original bright copper color, are the most desirable and valuable. While the 1955 D cent is common in lower mint state grades, high-grade examples such as MS 66 red or MS 67 red are more difficult to find. Many coins from this period were saved in rolls by collectors, but only a smaller percentage have survived in pristine condition without spots, stains, or surface marks. Strong luster, sharp strike detail, and clean surfaces significantly increase a coin's appeal and value. The Denver Mint generally produced well-struck cents in 1955, though minor variations in strike quality may be observed. Unlike the famous 1955 double die cent from Philadelphia, the 1955 D issue does not have a widely known major double die variety. However, collectors may still search for minor double dies, repunch mint marks, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and other mint errors. These types of errors can add collectible value depending on their visibility and condition. The historical context of 1955 adds additional interest to the coin. The United States was in the midst of post-war prosperity under the leadership of Dwight D. Eisenhower. The interstate highway system was about to be launched, suburban communities were expanding rapidly, and consumer goods such as automobiles and household appliances were becoming widely available. The 1955 D-cent circulated during this optimistic period of American history, playing a small but constant role in daily commerce. Many collectors include the 1955 D-cent in complete Lincoln Wheat cent albums covering the years 1909 through 1958. Because it is common in circulated condition, it is easy for beginners to acquire. However, advanced collectors often seek out high-grade red examples for registry sets or long-term investment. The difference in value between a worn example and a top-grade mint state red coin can be significant. From an investment perspective, the 1955 D1 cent coin is not rare in average condition due to its high mintage. However, top-quality specimens with full red color and exceptional eye appeal can command strong premiums. As time passes and fewer high-grade examples remain available, the best-preserved coins may continue to attract interest from serious collectors. All of these coins are part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. Their copper composition, classic design, and connection to American history make them highly collectible. While most circulated examples are affordable, the condition is everything in coin collecting. A coin that looks ordinary in worn condition can become very valuable if preserved in pristine, uncirculated state. If you enjoy learning about rare coins, historical pennies, and hidden values in your pocket change, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which of these wheat pennies you have in your collection, and which one you think has the most potential value. Stay tuned for more detailed coin history, grading tips, and market insights in our upcoming videos.